Greetings, YouTube. I have a family-friendly channel. That doesn't mean that America's families gather around the mobile phone or the iPad or the TV screen to watch my channel. Some do, though. But it just means that I don't like to say profanity on the channel. That's why I say the words internet phrases. Because sometimes those are phrases that you'd see on the internet. And I feel like that's as vague as it gets. Of course, you can say anything's an internet phrase with that definition because anything that's ever been thought of or said seems to be already on the internet. I digress. Regardless, you all have sent me some feedback that contained some non-internet phrases and some non-family-friendly phrases to talk about your disgust regarding the trade-in store as a whole, but especially the process of having to trade in not one, not two, not three, not four, but five-star generic Awakening gems for a 6-star Awakening gem crystal. And I've heard from at least 8 people. Those are just what I can think of at the top of my head. Probably more than that. 8 people who traded in their 5 generic 5-star Awakening gems for a 6-star Awakening gem crystal landed on, say, because this is a very popular one, Mystic, already had Doom awakened, didn't care about awakening Black Widow Clairvoyant, so they threw it back, and then guess what? They got another Mystic, because the biggest error in this trade and store was that they didn't take out the class you traded in. They didn't do what they've done with the Tier 4 class Catalyst crystals, where you trade in most of the time, or all the time. It used to be 3, thank God it's now 2. 2 of, let's say, Cosmic, and you get a crystal that's got everything but Cosmic in it. They didn't do that. And that was a horrible mistake that they just got greedy on, or lazy on, or both on. So, basically, the people who have messaged me with very, again, unfamily friendly phrases, is Kabam just did this to milk our crystals, and they're not even giving us what they said they'd give us. Now, that makes sense, right? They want the servers to run faster. The hamsters are dying trying to keep up on those hamster wheels. And they're going to talk about it in this post. So, Kabam Boo. And shout out to Brian Shadowstrike. By the way, sometimes they'll just send me screenshots of posts, which is why I just look at the picture and I read it. Sometimes people get a little frustrated when the link to the forum post isn't there. Now, in this case, the forum post is closed. But thank you for all your feedback on the trade-in store. We are sorry to hear that some of you were unable to take full advantage of the trade-in store at this time. That is a weird phrase. We are sorry to hear that some of you were unable to take full advantage of. Now, that might be true for the people who don't have 5-star generic Awakening gems, but there are people who did everything they could, and they didn't take full advantage of the store because your system was rigged against them getting a class that they didn't want in the 6-star Awakening gem specifically. That wasn't on them, that was on you, Kabam. Plain and simple. The team confirms that this trade-in store was meant to encourage players who have accumulated a large amount of items in their inventory. By the way, when we say large players, when we're talking about the people at the top, we're talking about Throne Breakers. There's no way Cavalier members have enough 5-star Awakening gems, whether it be generic or class, to trade up for a 6-star Awakening gem. Although I did know a couple people who would have been able to do it, but because they didn't know that this trade-in store was going to exist, they held on to their Awakening gems until right before, and then used a couple, especially during Cyber Weekend, and then now they regret it, but of course they can't get those back. Players who have accumulated a large amount of items in their inventory due to a lack of purposeful use. Wait. Stop the press. Due to a lack of purposeful use. That sounds like the worst way to break up with someone ever. Why are you breaking up with me? I just feel like you lack purposeful use. Let's see how that works. Somebody try that. On second, maybe don't try that. But the wording on this post is just weird. Did Kabam Mike write this and then Kabam Boo say it? Because this sounds like some passive-aggressive vagueness that we're used to seeing from Kabam Mike over the years. And I've given him what I call the flowers. He had a great response to Seaton's post, though, as many of you pointed out, Seaton is the voice of the community. So Kabam Mike not encouraging the voice of the community is like somebody not encouraging the hand that feeds them. Of course, it's only smart to encourage somebody that determines really the state of what the player base feels about something as a whole. But on the other hand, this goes against a lot of the progress that was made from Kabam Mike's response in that specific forum post. to finally trade them in for something that is hopefully more useful to them. Well, not if you give them two of the same class. With that said, we have digested all your feedback. I doubt you've digested all of it, but that's what you say. And discussed the situation with the team here. The team concludes that while we are unable to make any immediate changes to this current trade in store, we can definitely plan to run this trade in store again in the future. The team concludes that you all are going to be unpurposeful with your items in the future, so we'll try to drain them again at some point. With all your feedback in hand, we will endeavor, you tell me that word's used in normal conversation, to make the next trade in store more aligned with the feedback received. We will be closing this thread for the time being. We apologize again for any undue frustration caused, and thank you for your support and cooperation. So, you've got the Kabam homers who are saying, Prof, the 6-star Awakening Gem Crystal, first of all, is one of the 4 rarest items in the game, next to Tier 6 Basic Catalyst, Tier 3 Alpha, 6-star Generic Awakening Gem, and now 6-star Class-based Awakening Gem. So, of course, it should be a crazy high price. And while I get the fundamental argument that poses, I wish to decline the full logic of that item being not only worth 5 5-star Generic Awakening Gems, of which no other scale trades in 5, but I also wish to trade a counter argument for you that Kabam should be able to get away with giving that same player base the same class, which the RNG does so often, 2 times in a row. And I benefited from this store. Even though I still hated the 5 trading price, I got a tech. I debated whether or not to awaken Warlock. Decided, because he didn't need the awakening, that I would try to go for Cosmic on the prayer that I could awaken future Hercules or Null on my account, and I got it. And so a couple of you might be saying to yourselves, well, Prof, this benefited you. Why are you complaining? Because my channel doesn't represent just me. It represents everybody. And just because something benefited me doesn't mean that it was a good system. And I am not going to be silenced because I am so self-centered that if something benefits me, I don't care about anybody else. I would like to think the reason why a lot of you watching this right now is because you know I speak for you, not myself. And yes, I am passionate about this and I'm frustrated about this because there are enough self-centered people in this world, especially on the internet, that think if something doesn't impact them, it's either not news or not important. And I'm here to tell you, I don't care if this game goes away tomorrow. That's a bad way to look at life in general. And that's what I tell my students as well when we talk about news every day in my multimedia journalism classes at Oklahoma State. So, weird Kabam post. This Kabam post, and also bamboo, makes me think there's some other problems with the Kabam name. Anyhow, this took some steps back. Huge steps back from the progress that was made. And I keep it 100, or as some of you have said, sort of tongue-in-cheek, I keep it 1,000 on this channel. I was there to praise Kabam Mike with a pretty well-worded post, even if some of you felt like it was not genuine. This is a terrible post. This Kabam post is awful. Whoever wrote it, maybe it was Kabam Mike, really wasn't, needs to go back to the drawing board. And instead of trying to use big fancy words like endeavor and purposeful, just say these 2 sentences. Besides, thank you for your feedback. We screwed up. This store was not up to your expectations, and that's on us. That's called accountability, which Kabam claims they want. I'm not making this video just to rant. I'm making this video so that you can do better the next time this trade-in store appears, which this post confirms. We'll see it again. What do you think about this post? What do you think about the store? What do you think about the prices? Let me know in the comments below, because unlike this forum post, Kabam can't close this video comment section, and that's why having a YouTube channel is such a beautiful thing.